everyone, I'm Becky,
And I'm Sarah.
and we're doing Bickering Book Reviews. Today we are talking about Class Act by Jerry Craft, which is the companion to The New Kid, and I got this book off of Edelweiss.
Same.
So this book is about Jordan's friend, Drew, and Drew is African American, and he is going to the same prep school that Jordan went to on scholarship. And it's basically just about him trying to find his place in the school and how he is one of the few kids who are there on academic scholarship and how he's trying to kind of like forge his own path. Things like he loves basketball, but he doesn't want them to view him as that African American kid who only plays basketball. And he's kind of starting to see different things about some of his non-African American classmates and how they interact with him. And he's also starting to kind of notice the way the school views their minority students. And it's just basically about this year in his life and of him figuring out where he is and where he wants to be and who's really his friend and who's not. And so Sarah and I had different reactions to this book because I liked this book.
I was not a fan. I think part of it, though, like a major part of it stemmed from the fact that it really felt like the voices did not match 13-year-olds. They felt much younger. But, I mean, it does start bringing up conversations that need to be had. And it clearly does this in a way that there's no room for not knowing exactly what he's saying because he's very upfront about exactly what he means. Like, don't touch somebody when you don't have permission, or it's not okay to treat someone differently because of the color of their skin, or, not wanting to fall into stereotypes so that you're further perpetuating this stereotype.
Well, right. And two things I really enjoyed about this book was, first of all, there is also a lot of discussion that Jordan is lighter skinned than Drew. And they have two very different experiences because of that. Like, there's a part where they're basically looking for an African American ambassador to these kids from another school. And Drew keeps saying, well, Jordan would be the perfect, person. He's friendly. He would fit in. He would talk about the arts program. And they're like, no, but we want somebody darker.
And wasn't he from the neighborhood that the school was like?
But it was almost like he just wasn't dark enough to fit their ideal of what they wanted.
Yeah.
I also thought that the way that they portrayed the school and just kind of like how they felt like, we're not racist. See, we have two African American students, and they show them this movie, this like ridiculous like type that would win an Oscar, but it's actually really kind of like a minstrel show, and it's really offensive to African Americans. And like
that was like a very interesting part, like a very good discussion point.
Well, it kind of reminds me about like sociological studies about how much the movie Green Book is hated by certain people, and how if you really pay attention to the underlying messages in Green Book and the way it's filmed, it's actually not great. And that's kind of what I kept thinking. Like, they made them watch this video, and like they start this movie, and they're both like, "Oh God, this again."
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That is a good jumping off point.
Right. And that's the thing. And I think that was the strength in the first book too. I think because like the kids in my library love The New Kid. And I think that that's the strength in this is like you're talking about things even for like high schoolers that they might not see. And just like the little things, like there's a part where they bring out the kids from the inner city school, and basically the one kid's like, why did you bring us here? We're never going to have this stuff. And they're like, but we're here to make you feel better. And she's like, you're just showing me all the stuff I never get to have. And I feel like that's another conversation starter that you don't necessarily see.
See, and my problem is, though, like, they legitimately say that. And, like, I feel like, realistically, kids are not going to legitimately say those exact words. Like, you're like, literally saying, you're showing me all the things I cannot have. Like, I don't see them verbalizing it in that way. I don't see, because a lot of times, when Jordan or Drew or, you know, whoever will kind of point out an issue, a lot of times the person will be like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I shouldn't get mad over that." And I'm more specifically thinking about, there was a part where Drew and his old friends were talking about like throwing snowballs, and like he pushes back against whatever they're saying, and they're like, "You're right. That's not okay." Actually, I'm thinking of a different part. It was like by the buses. But anyway, it really doesn't matter. Basically, it just felt so like cheesy after school movie that like it was a little frustrating for me, because I feel like like the way conversations would go, it'd be far more nuanced than "You're right, we're wrong, huh, ho hum," like, and literally saying it the way that they say it.
I think though, I feel like for some kids they need it that well written, like they need it like broken out like that.
I think the younger elementary kids need it like that, but I mean, there are 13-year-olds that are having babies. Like, I
Yeah, but
just
this
don't
book
know.
isn't written for that kid. This book, I mean,
I, yeah,
I think, I don't know. I know that this is the type of book that I would give the school and be like, yeah, you probably, the school that's like 90% non-minority, you know, yeah, you might want to make sure you have a couple copies of this in your library.
yeah, yeah. I can see that. It personally, it didn't work for me, but I could see readers enjoying it, especially with the Easter eggs of, you know, referencing different popular graphic novels, like Amulet, like Raina books, like um,
Right.
I Shannon Hale was in there,
Well, there's
and
a part where they're like at lunch and like the one kid is actually reading a copy of Guts.
yeah, yeah. But even all, like, I'm even just thinking like all the chapter headings,
Right.
but
Shoot.
then also referring to the important African American authors that are kind of popular right now, like Jason Reynolds and Jacqueline Woodson and all of that.
Yeah. Should we just rate it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So our rating system starts at the top with 5 unicorns. We go down to 2 unicorns. If we don't like it, it's a horse. So where are you?
I'm in a 2 unicorns. It didn't work for me personally, but I get its importance, and I am willing to acknowledge the fact that there are many out there who are really going to enjoy this and respond to it.
Like I said, I'm in a 4. I really enjoyed it. I thought that he brought up issues that kids are dealing with, and he brought them up in a way that they could understand, and he brought them up in a way that kids that don't understand that this stuff exists will understand it. So that is where we are on Class Act, and we'll see you around.
All right, see ya.
Bye.